Welcome. I'm Father Aidan, and this is our fifth reflection on the fifth week of Lent. And we read in the Gospel for the fifth Sunday of Lent that Philip and Andrew went to tell Jesus that there were some Greeks, that is, non-Jews, wanting to see him. And Jesus responded to Philip and Andrew saying, "Now the hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. I tell you most solemnly, unless a wheat grain falls on the ground and dies, it remains only a single grain. But if it dies, it yields a rich harvest." The hour Jesus is speaking of now is the time when he will be glorified through his death. He had to die like a grain, a seed of wheat, to yield a rich harvest. This will have come as a shock to his listeners. The Jews believed that the Son of Man was a powerful conqueror, sent by God against whom no opposition could resist. They did not understand that glorification meant crucifixion on a cross. I remember as a child, I must have been about 9 or 10 years of age, going into our potato field and pulling out one of the potato plants. I don't remember what time of year it was. I think it was late summer, but it certainly was not the time to dig them up. When I pulled up the stalk and shook off the soil, I could see about 8 or 10 very small new white potatoes, each of them about the size of a gobstopper or a pop marble. Do you remember playing marbles in the school ground? I'm giving my age away now. But there was the old potato in the middle of the new ones. It was what is called the seed potato. It was all wizened up and rotten. I can still recall my touching it and it disintegrating. It was just like mush. It seemed as if it had rotted away. In fact, like the grain of wheat, it too died to yield a rich harvest. Another death which brings new life is that of the caterpillar, but in a different way to that of the grain or the potato. I would ask you to listen to CIARAN, who's going to read a short story. It's adapted from the very popular inspirational story On Struggle, of which there are many titles, such as The Struggle to Become a Butterfly or Struggle is Good, I Want to Fly. The author of the original story is unknown.
Once, there was a little boy who was playing outdoors and found a caterpillar. He was fascinated with it. He carefully picked it up and took it home to show his mother. He asked his mother if he could keep it, and she said that he could, if he would take good care of it. The little boy asked his mommy if he could put it in the old fish tank, which was in the shed. His mommy said that that was okay, so he got the old fish tank and put some plants in it for the caterpillar to eat, and a stick for it to climb on. Every day he watched the caterpillar and brought it new plants to eat. One day the caterpillar climbed up the stick and started to act strangely, hanging upside down and wrapping itself up in a bubble, like a small package. The little boy was worried and called his mommy to come and have a look. She knew what the caterpillar was doing. She explained to the little boy that the caterpillar was creating a cocoon, or a chrysalis. The little boy's mommy explained to him how the caterpillar was pupating, that it was going to become a butterfly. It would die as a caterpillar and come out of its cocoon as a butterfly, so unimaginably beautiful, splendid, majestic and free. The little boy watched the tank every day. waiting for the butterfly to emerge. One day, it seemed to begin to happen. A tiny hole appeared in the cocoon, just like the hole a chicken makes in the shell of the egg as it is about to hatch. He could see the butterfly struggling to come out. At first, the little boy was excited, but soon he became concerned. The butterfly was struggling so hard to get out. It looked as if it couldn't get out. It looked desperate. It was taking a long time. It looked like as if it was not going to make it. The little boy decided to help the butterfly. He got a pair of scissors and snipped the cocoon to make the hole bigger, and the butterfly quickly emerged. As the butterfly came out, the little boy was surprised. It had a swollen body and its wings were small and shriveled. He sat and watched the butterfly, expecting that at any moment the wings would dry out, get bigger and expand to support the swollen body and then fly off. He recalled chickens hatching, coming out of the egg, all shriveled and wet, and after an hour or so they were up and running about like little balls of fluff. What was wrong with the butterfly? The little boy waited patiently for the butterfly's body to shrink and its wings to expand, but neither happened. The butterfly could only crawl around with its swollen body and limped wings. It was never able to fly. Eventually, it died. The little boy was intrigued. He wanted to know what had gone wrong. His mammy didn't understand too. So the little boy and his mammy went to the local school to ask a science teacher. They learnt that the butterfly was supposed to struggle as it came out of its cocoon. It is nature's way. It is God's design that caterpillars pupate in this way. To become a butterfly, the caterpillar has to pupate, has to undergo struggle and force its way out of the cocoon. And as it does, the blood is pushed out of its body to making it shrink and into its wings to make them expand. It has to struggle by itself. It has to force and push its way out of its cocoon on its own to become a splendid, majestic, beautiful butterfly, to be able to soar and to fly freely, bringing awe and giving joy to all who see it.
Thank you, Ciaran. Yes, like the grain and the potato, the caterpillar dies to give new life. It pupates. But it's only through its struggles and its pupation will the caterpillar become a butterfly. Something unimaginable, splendid, majestic, beautiful and free, according to nature, according to God's plan. The caterpillar's pupating and its cocoon or pupa, suspended from a branch, reminds me of Jesus' passion and his hanging on the cross. And when I am lifted up from the earth, I shall draw all men to myself. Without Jesus' struggles, without his suffering and death on the cross, he would not have become the risen and glorified Christ to save us and to give us new life. Next Sunday is Palm Sunday, or Passion Sunday, or as my brother calls it, the Sunday with the long stand. We will have the story of the Passion of Jesus, the story of his struggles and suffering and his death, up to his being laid in the tomb. And he will emerge as the risen Christ 3 days later. The following week, the most holy week of the year, is Holy Week, when we will walk the same narrative over 3 days. We will celebrate the Paschal mystery, beginning with the Last Supper on Holy Thursday evening, through Jesus' passion and death on Good Friday, and ending with Jesus' resurrection on Easter Day. These days together have a special name, the Triduum, 3 in 1. Like the caterpillar, Jesus gave up his life voluntarily. in accordance with the will and the plan of God the Father. Willingly he struggled. Willingly he suffered in his passion and death to emerge as someone who was unrecognizable, someone we could never imagine if we had no prior knowledge of the scriptures, someone as splendid, as majestic, as beautiful and as free as a butterfly, but even more, as our glorified Saviour and Redeemer. And we have the assurance in the gospel, from the voice that came from heaven, which affirms Jesus, his listeners, and us. God came and spoke to Jesus in the great moments of his life. Jesus heard the voice of God at his baptism and at the time of his transfiguration. This time, God replies directly to Jesus' word for the benefit of all people. He is affirming Jesus in his approaching death and resurrection. God's plan for saving the world. And may the crucified and risen Jesus bless you and fill you with his peace this week and throughout Holy Week.